My name is Jerry Greenway, 1030 Levitt Lane. I'd like to address the mayor and all the council members here a little bit on decibels. I've learned that nobody seems to know what decibels are. And 65 decibels are proposed in our noise ordinance is like your neighbor kid getting his first motorcycle that's nice and quiet, but it still drives you crazy after he rides it around the backyard. A month later, he puts on a super trap and to tune the exhaust, and then it's 75 decibels. So that's where we're going here with the proposed noise. There's a thing right in the federal law that says if you raise 10 decibels, it's like doubling the sound of noise. And lo and behold, today in the Review Journal was quoted the U.S. Housing Authority in the McCarran article in the business. And you can't build a house that's over 60 decibels. So, just so we know where we stand, you know, if it comes out, you know, to these kind of noise, I think we'll all be embarrassed or hurt by the noise, and maybe embarrassment will go to the people that authored this. Thank you.
Good evening, Bruce Hughes, 629 Mountain View Drive, Mesquite. I don't think in 3 minutes anybody could possibly discuss this entire bill. Somebody should be embarrassed by writing this. It's, you know, I would think that they'd have the interest of the citizens of Mesquite in mind, and they certainly don't in this. Typical case is 5139 exemptions, paragraph C. Noises from an automobile alarm shall be exempt from the provisions of this noise ordinance, provided such burglar alarm shall terminate its operation within 10 minutes of its activation. And then you turn around and they talk about, forgive me, I thought I was prepared here. Okay, 51311, enforcement procedures, subparagraph B. In lieu of issuing the citation, a police officer or NCO may issue a warning notice requiring abatement of a second source or of any sound source alleged to be in violation of this noise ordinance within a reasonable period of time. In other words, my car alarm, they give me 10 minutes. But somebody can be making all kinds of racket and they're given a reasonable period of time. Let's put a time limit on it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Don Muse, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be anywhere. I wanted to talk to you tonight about the noise ordinance and a few suggestions that I would like you to consider. First and foremost, I think that in answer to the problem as it began at the Casablanca with loud blues music and throughout the night, to end up with it that's raising the sound level just doesn't make sense. There's not any solution to it. It's an exaggeration of the input of the businesses. And also I'd like to complain on where you got the 25% increase on that, because it certainly wasn't reflected from maybe the homeowners. It come from the businessmen. I think that too was slanted because the city attorney acknowledged that to the Desert Valley Times, she personally called those people to get the business input at the time to arrive at this, because the other people, the homeowners, they didn't have a chance to even vote yet. But at this day and age, to propose that without any input from the homeowners, if the business people want to vote, let them come and vote like me, because most of my people, half of them, can't even get here, much less stand up and talk for themselves. And number two, we're not an island here. We don't set the rules for the federal government. The Economic Development Administration does, EPA. And they, in turn, on noise ordinance, they must give the authority to the state of Nevada. I'd like to see something from them on this. I'd like to see if what you're proposing is right with them. That would be the best way to settle that. And there wouldn't be any hue and cry. Well, my people, I'm going to crank them up and when we go to a vote on this, but in the meantime, I'd like to do something conciliatory to the homeowners. No homeowners are going to vote to raise that low 25%. It's just not reasonable, regardless of how much you fight it. This is retired senior citizens homeowners society that we live in. And I was civil. Make sure that I was civil all the way. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I too am here over concern over this, I'm sorry, Jennifer Reber, 1010 Levitt Lane. I too am here over a concern with this bill proposed 469. There is multiple things in it that concern me. One being the raising of the decibels. I guess the question I have is, whenever I went and searched across the United States, different places, I didn't know what 75 decibels was, didn't know what 65 was. When I went and looked at it, I pulled up LA and Denver and lots of different things and places. A lot of them go by just the source of the sound, how many feet you can hear it from. And then if you get into some of them that actually have decibels, LA's light industrial is 75. Well, if this draft goes through as written, my new party time is going to be Fridays and Saturday nights till 11 o'clock. That is unacceptable. My sleeping hours don't change just because it's a weekend. Some people may, but I'm not in that age category anymore. So I am concerned with that part. I am also concerned with the wording of it is pretty vague. And just like that gentleman said, we have some things that we do for car alarms, and we have some things that we do in a general amount of time. And so I just feel like the way that this is written, as any draft, a draft, we do it, we start with something, and we go from there. And so I realize that, we can put a lot of things down, but there's a lot of things that need to be tweaked. And I just want to say, I know that gentleman had said that they'd asked for the input of businesses, and that was from the NRS's require business input on if it's going to affect them. So I do realize that. So I'm not thinking that, and I also am aware that this doesn't come to a vote with us people. This comes to a vote between you guys up here. And I'm hoping that you guys will realize that we live here, and the citizens of Mesquite need to, our voices need to be heard. We live here, we're citizens, and it is your job to protect us. We've endured many Casabaloosas over the last summer while this noise ordinance was supposedly not in effect or couldn't be. And I'm just not ready to do it again. We were told that if it worked, they plan on doing it some more, which is great, but I just can't do it every Friday and Saturday if it works. And so I ask that you guys please look over this bill and see if it's in the best interest of the citizens as well as the businesses. Thank you.
Sam River, 990 Levitt Lane. I've lived here for almost 72 years on Levitt Lane. It used to be Pulsfer Lane, and now it's Levitt Lane. We donated the land for the road that goes down Levitt Lane. My granddad, my dad, the Jensens, the Rivers, and the Levitts donated most of that road, Levitt Lane. And it's been a kind of a quiet little neighborhood. We realized when the Casablanca came in, we actually voted against that. One thing we did do is we made them put a 6-foot wall down there, and that's helped a little bit. But now that I'm getting older, I go to bed about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and when my front door and windows rattle until 11 or 12 o'clock, it kind of upsets me a little bit. Now, I own a lot of property down there, and my family owns 5 homes down there. We have big lots. Some of those homes now I would be guessed that there would be over $250,000, $300,000. Dr. Abib lives on Levitt Lane. She bought a nice big home there. They're well built, and the sound shouldn't affect us. But last summer, what brought this all ahead was that swimming pool party. And it wasn't so much, we're not against the pool parties. What we're against is the loud bounding noise of the drums and the obscene language that comes over that wall. Now, we pay a lot of taxes too. I realize the Casablanca pays a lot of taxes and employs a lot of people. But I want to tell you one thing. The old timers here have paid their dues, and we're tired of everybody else kind of rolling over us and not listening to us. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Agenda item 16 is consideration of an introduction of bill number 469, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Mesquite amending Title 5 of the Mesquite Municipal Code entitled Police Regulations, Chapter 1 entitled Misdemeanors, Section 3 entitled Offenses Against the Person, and renaming the section Noise Control and other matters properly related thereto. Will that be Ms. Hunt or Mr. Tanner?
It will be me, I guess.
All right,
I don't
Ms.
see him
Hunt.
coming forward. The proposed ordinance revises the provisions of the Mesquite Municipal Code pertaining to noise disturbances. The revised provisions establish objective standards for addressing many types of noise or disturbances. The staff is recommending that City Council introduce Bill number 469, read it by short title, set public hearing and consideration of adoption for February 12th, 2013.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. I just want to remind the public that this is an introduction only. There is no vote being taken on the ordinance itself. Council, seek a motion. Councilman Rapson.
I'll move to introduce bill number 469, read by short title, and set public hearing and consideration of adoption for February 12th, 2013.
Thank you, Councilman. Do we have a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Call for the vote. Okay, that motion carries.